Welcome everyone to the Lofi Poli Sci podcast. I'm your host, Michael Pickering. That's right, Lo-Fi's and low fidelity, low quality, in your face, messy as can be global news show. Here we're going to talk about that famous question, what's going on in the world today? I hope everyone's ready because it's Messy Monday. That's right, it's time for that fast cap weekend recap. Messy Mondays will bring you 10 fast-paced headlines from across the globe, and then a piece of humanity to send you on your way for the week. So let's get messy. The news, fresh off the press. The following 3 stories come from Reuters World News. We begin in Hong Kong. Thousands protest Chinese security law as unrest returns to Hong Kong. As we reported on Friday when news of this new law hit, there would definitely be some pushback from the pro-democracy movement. The protesters were met with tear gas and water cannons. This really is a messy way to start the week, but there's going to be a lot more happening in Hong Kong very soon, Lo-Fi Nation. Sticking with this story but moving to the US, the headline, China legislation on Hong Kong could lead to US sanctions, White House says. This story adds to a list that is becoming quite long as far as grievances between the US and China. China has previously warned the US to, and note that the following are my words, not theirs, mind your business over there. This is our house. We'll be keeping an eye on their house as these stories develop moving forward. But for now, we're off to Russia. Russia seeks 18-year jail term for ex-US Marine in spy trial. It's been some time since we've heard word of this trial, and that's because its proceedings are behind closed courtroom doors, sealed from the public. The verdict will be handed down on June 15, but the odds don't look good. U.S. officials say the charges of spying are not true, though, as we've said here before, all countries spy on all other countries, and no country claims they're spies once they're caught. However, this isn't the movies. This is a real person's life. It's hard to discern the truth when the case is closed to all. Moving forward, our next 3 stories all come from the AP News International section. Starting in Iran and sailing the 7 seas to Venezuela we go. The story. First Iranian ship reaches Venezuela with no sign of U.S. threat. And an amazing development to last week's news of Iran sending Venezuela 5 oil tankers filled with gasoline, the U.S. Navy and government appear to have decided not to play Pirates of the Caribbean this go-around. However, there still are 4 more tankers on the way. We wait with much curiosity and anticipation. What do you think, Lo-Fi Nation? Will the U.S. allow the other 4 shipments in? Write in and let me know your thoughts. From Venezuela to North Korea we go. North Korea's Kim holds meeting on bolstering nuclear forces. Last month everyone thought he was dead. Then no one was talking about him. And Kim said, he's had enough of that. He's talking nuclear weapons. So he gets a headline today. At a meeting with military officials, he apparently put forth a plan to increase the country's nuclear capabilities and put the military on high alert. The why is not quite clear. Hey, Kim, we see you over there. Take it down a notch, why don't you? Nobody needs that nuclear stuff right now. It's only Monday. Stop being so messy. And from North Korea, we move to Belarus. The headline. 1,000 protest Belarusian president seeking another term. Mentioning someone who needs to take it down a notch, let's meet the president of Belarus, Alexander Lukashenko, president of the country since 1994 when the presidency was created after the dissolution of the Soviet Union. This is a fellow that even President Putin of Russia has told to chill out. And his country, neighbor to Russia, actually has a lower Freedom House score rating than Russia. We'll be keeping an eye on this story to see if anything develops further. And our next 4 stories all come from the BBC World and Science sections. To Suriname in South America we go. And this next one surely is the messiest of Monday's bunch. The headline. Suriname election. Will a convicted murderer be re-elected? Wait, what? Rewind that headline, please. Suriname election. Will a convicted murderer be re-elected? Oh, messy, messy, messy. The president of Suriname was convicted of murder, sentenced to 20 years, but his appeal will be in June, after the election on Monday, today. I'm not going into this more, unless he's re-elected. But if he is, you can expect a person-country profile for sure, Lofi Poli Sci. Staying in the area of messy leaders, to Israel we go. The headline. Netanyahu trial, Israeli Prime Minister faces Jerusalem court. The Prime Minister is charged with bribery, fraud, and breach of trust. We've long awaited this trial. Now it's time to air out all that dirty laundry and see what happens next. Now back to Iran for our next story. Iranian parkour athlete arrested over rooftop kiss. That's right, the cyber police of Iran arrested a man and a woman for violating Iranian law with vulgar acts which are contrary to customs under Sharia law. Let's take a step to the side here for a second. Are they referring to the parkour? The running and jumping around? Or the kiss? The world is vastly different depending on where you are, Lo-Fi Nation. We'll be keeping an extra eye open for developments on this story. And our last piece of news to send you on your way for the week. NASA SpaceX launch. Astronauts complete rehearsal for historic mission. That's right, on Wednesday, SpaceX will be the first private corporation to taxi astronauts to the International Space Station. It will also be the first time in 9 years that astronauts take off from the US mainland. I wonder, if this private taxi service really takes off, will we see civilians be able to go to space? Will Lo-Fi Nation get to go to space? Here's a question to leave you with. How much do you think it would cost a casual citizen to pay SpaceX for a round-trip ticket to space? Write in, Lo-Fi Nation. And that's a brief snapshot of what's going on in the world today. Please write in with your questions, comments, or requests of countries for our news segments, or a top 10 global list you want to see, too. Lofi Poli Sci at planetmail.com. That's Lofi, L-O-F-I, Poli, P-O-L-I, Sci, S-C-I, at planetmail.com. Always remember that Lofi Poli Sci is more than just me. It's the we that we be. Let me say thank you so much for listening. Stay safe, wash those hands, and I'll see you on the next episode of the Lofi Poli Sci podcast. Pickering, signing off.